The Voral Dominion fleet drifted at the edge of the solar system, its dark metal ships glowing with cold blue light. Commander Ryvac stood at the center of the flagship bridge, watching Earth's quiet blue sphere turning slowly far ahead. To him, humans were nothing more than a rumor, small, isolated, and weak. No one in the galaxy had ever received a proper response from them. So, when a strange energy spike appeared near Earth, the Voral decided to send a simple galactic hail. It was supposed to be a test, just a message, nothing more. Ryvac expected silence. He expected their hail to vanish into Earth's atmosphere without meaning, the way it had done with many primitive worlds. But the moment the transmission hit Earth's network, something impossible happened. A sharp tone echoed across the alien bridge. Incoming message. The crew froze. Aliens looked at each other with disbelief. No species replied this fast. Some replies took hours. Some took days. But this one, it came in 1 second. The message appeared on the screen, written in flawless galactic script. Transmission received. Stand by for Supreme Council response. Ryvac's breath caught. Supreme Council? Humans had a Supreme Council? A nervous silence spread across the Voral Bridge. Every crew member felt a cold pressure in their chest. It was not fear. It was something far worse, uncertainty. Ryvac tried to order a scan of Earth, but his systems flickered. He tried again, nothing. Something on Earth was blocking their technology. Then space itself began to twist. A massive ring of energy ignited behind the Voral ships, bending the stars and shaking the void. The crew watched in terror as a vast ripple of power spread outward. Something was coming, something they were not ready for. Deep under Earth's surface, far below the cities, oceans, and mountains, a hidden structure came alive after centuries of silence. It was called the Core Chamber, home of Earth's Supreme Council, the secret ruling force humanity never revealed to the galaxy. As the alien hail reached Earth, alarms echoed through the chamber. Giant screens lit up. Star maps shifted. Old machines hummed like ancient beasts waking from a long sleep. Counselor Arya Voss, the youngest but sharpest member, stepped forward. She scanned the alien message and narrowed her eyes. "They found us," she said softly. Beside her, Counselor Harkin replied, "Not found. They tested us, and now they must know the truth." Dozens of silent operators began activating systems hidden for generations. Dark metallic doors slid open, revealing powerful communication arrays, gravitational weapons, and deep space scanners. Every piece of technology was far beyond anything other species had ever seen. Humanity had always stayed quiet, not because they were weak, but because they were preparing. Ariataped a glowing console. The room became still as a single phrase appeared on every screen. Protocol Dawn Response. Initiate. Across the globe, massive cloaked ships powered up. Some rested under oceans, others hidden inside mountains, and some floating in Earth's shadow. For 200 years, they waited for a reason to rise. Now the reason had arrived. In space, the Voral Dominion fleet trembled as a strange force touched their ships. Sensors failed. Lights flickered. Their engines slowed, as if the void itself refused to let them move. Commander Ryvac shouted for updates, but no one could explain the growing pressure around them. Then the alien fleet received a second human message. "This is the Supreme Council. Your hail has been acknowledged. Do not proceed further." The words were calm, too calm, and the calm was more terrifying than any warning. Far beyond the moon's shadow, something enormous drifted in the darkness, silent, invisible, waiting. Humanity's oldest secret, the Obsidian Fleet, a collection of warships built with technology no alien empire had ever witnessed. For centuries, these ships stayed cloaked, gathering dust and power in equal measure. Now, one by one, the cloaking fields cracked like ice breaking. In the Voral Dominion flagship, alarms shrieked. "Unknown energy surge." "Behind us," shouted an officer. Commander Ryvac spun around, eyes widening as the stars behind his fleet began to warp. At first, it looked like a ripple, then a wave, then a monstrous shadow stretching half the size of his entire armada. A single human dreadnought uncloaked. Its hull was black, smooth, and covered in glowing blue runes. The ship was so large that smaller Voral cruisers looked like insects beside it. Ryvac felt his throat tighten. Never in his life had he seen a ship with such mass, such precision, such silence. No weapons fired. No threats were given. It simply existed, and that alone terrified the Voral. Inside the dreadnought, Admiral Runvale watched calmly from a dark command bridge. His crew waited for his signal. He raised his hand, and a communication beam shot toward the Voral flagship. A simple message appeared on Ryvac's screen. This space is restricted. Return your fleet to a safe distance. This is your first and final warning. Ryvac trembled. That is their first warning? The Voral officers exchanged terrified glances. This human ship, massive enough to eclipse the stars, hadn't even activated its weapons. It didn't need to. As the dreadnought expanded its gravitational field, more human ships started to materialize behind it, silent giants rising from the void. The Voral fleet slowly realized the truth. They were not the hunters today. They were the prey. The Voral fleet was paralyzed, caught in a web of confusion and fear. Their commanders scrambled for control, but nothing worked. Their weapons, their scanners, their engines, they were all locked, frozen by an invisible force. Commander Ryvac tried to remain calm, but the pressure was building. The enormous human dreadnought loomed in front of them, silent and still, its presence like a massive wall. No alien ship had ever shown such overwhelming power without lifting a finger. "We cannot move," one of Ryvac's officers whispered, eyes wide with panic. "Their gravitational field, it's manipulating our systems. We can't get a single reading." Ryvac clenched his fists, staring at the massive human ship. "This cannot be. This is impossible." His mind raced. They had underestimated humanity. The Voral had believed Earth was a primitive world, an afterthought in the galaxy. The humans had been silent for so long that the entire galaxy had dismissed them as weak, insignificant. The Council's mere existence had been a myth to the stars. But now, the truth was unfolding before their eyes. The Supreme Council wasn't just a government. It was a weapon, a shield the galaxy never saw coming. Ryvac's heart sank as the full realization hit. Earth had been hiding, watching, preparing. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was a sleeping giant. The entire Voral fleet, spread out like a careless pack of wolves, now faced a single, unyielding human dreadnought. Ryvac's voice cracked as he spoke. "Send a retreat order now." But it was too late. The dreadnought's command bridge flashed with a single message. "Your attempts to retreat are useless." The fleet had already lost. The silence between the two fleets grew unbearable, like the calm before a storm. The Voral fleet was locked in place, their engines completely frozen, not a single ship able to move. The dreadnought hovered in front of them, towering over them like an ancient titan, and the rest of humanity's hidden warships slowly emerged from the shadows of space. They were all around them now, silent, waiting, watching. Ryvac stared out from the bridge of his flagship, feeling the weight of 1,000 eyes on him. He was not a coward, but for the first time in his life, he felt small. The Voral had always been conquerors, the powerful ones. They had been feared throughout the galaxy, yet now they were at the mercy of a single species. "We are trapped," one of his officers muttered. "We can't move. We can't escape. They've frozen us." Ryvac tried to call for reinforcements, but his communications were dead. The entire fleet was in chaos, and the humans had not fired a single shot. Meanwhile, inside the human dreadnought, Admiral Vale watched the Voral fleet's desperation unfold. His fingers brushed lightly against the console, and the tension in the room deepened. His crew stood at attention, their faces calm, even though they all knew what was coming. The Voral had made their move, and humanity was about to show them why they had been waiting in silence all these years. Admiral Vale's voice was steady as he gave the order. "Lock all weapons. Prepare for Phase 2. The moment he spoke, the rest of the fleet came alive. The massive human ships began to glow, their weapons primed and ready. The galaxy had never seen a warship like this. Nothing in the stars had ever felt such power. The Voral had one final chance. But would they dare face the consequences? The Voral fleet was trapped. A deep, bone-chilling silence stretched across space. No weapon was fired. No shields were raised. And yet, the immense pressure grew as Earth's Supreme Council made its final decision. The humans had shown their power, their technological might, their complete control over the situation. Now it was time to pass judgment. Commander Ryvac, once so confident in his fleet's superiority, now stood frozen, unable to move. His hand hovered above the command console, but no order came. His heart pounded in his chest, his mind racing through the endless possibilities of escape. Yet there was none. The humans had blocked every attempt. On Earth's Supreme Council ship, Admiral Vale stood at the center of the bridge, his eyes cold, calculating. He knew the Voral fleet would never leave Earth's orbit voluntarily. They were too proud, too eager to conquer. But they had underestimated humanity's strength and their resolve. The time had come for a lesson. Initiate final protocol, Admiral Vale ordered, his voice low and steady. The human warships, once silent and still, now came to life in perfect harmony. They locked into formation, weapons primed, energy shields raised, and the galaxy watched as Earth's response unfolded. The Voral had come to test humanity, and now they would learn the price of their arrogance. Suddenly, the vast human fleet moved in unison, its warships gliding forward like a tidal wave of steel and fire. But before they could unleash their power, the Supreme Council's final message was sent across the void. Leave, now, or face the consequence of your invasion. The Voral, paralyzed by the sheer scale of humanity's power, knew they had no choice but to obey. With shaking hands, Ryvac issued the retreat order. The Voral fleet slowly turned, retreating into the depths of space, leaving humanity standing victorious. The galaxy would never forget the day Earth's Supreme Council revealed itself.